There it goes. All right. Bye.
In the 3 years that your son was living with you, you alternated weekends.
Michael, I hope you don't feel left out.
Is that right? That's right, that's correct. And this incident that spawned this event was on a weekend. Yes. And was that weekend his weekend?
Okay, welcome everybody. We have some double entries. Let's see here. So Casey is double entered. Zach, just to double check, you are not double entered, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, just a second.
Well, what I'm going to do is give our other competitors just a few more minutes to pop on in, but if they don't arrive, we'll go ahead and get started. And as a reminder to those of you who may have not have heard it, I guess not a reminder, but an announcement for those of you who were not present before. This is being live streamed, so if you do not want to have your face on the screen, then blank that out. But really, that's just, I'm assuming, for the judges and any guests we may have. But I don't think we'll have guests because that's probably why they're doing the live stream. But yeah, that's the announcement I have. We'll get started here soon. Okay, so at this point, we will go ahead and get the round started since we've given a little bit of time for people to pop on into the room. Oh, hi, Ben. So we're just getting started here. Welcome to the room. Since you've just arrived, I'll go ahead and make this announcement one more time. We are going to be live streaming this just again as an FYI. I do see that you're double entered. So Ben, we're actually going to go ahead and get started with you. That way you can move on to your next event. And also if we could, or I guess there's two ways of doing this. One, if everybody can unmute themselves, have a round of applause, or visually go ahead and give yourself a hand raise. Basically, we're saying congratulations to everybody for making it into finals here. I'm excited for the round. I look forward to hearing y'all's speeches. And so, yeah, again, congratulations, and again, glad to be here.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you all. Okay, so Sabrina, Michael, I just want to make sure that you are both ready to start. And again, we'll begin with Ben, and then we'll move.
If
down.
we need like an extra minute or two, that's okay, because my parents want to watch, and I don't know if they're in yet, and I also have to find my stuff. So one second.
Yeah, that's more than fine. Yeah, go ahead and take a moment to get yourself settled.
Michael's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready too.
Great. Thank you both. Again, we'll get started here once Ben has a moment to go ahead and settle in. And again, Ben, don't feel rushed. Take your time. You're good.
Okay, bro.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just double checking everything.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're going to be okay to go then.
Great.
Are you all ready?
Absolutely.
Good to go.
On June 16th, 2019, Daniel Hidez needed to know, why did you choose to have an abortion if adoption were available? For years, people like Daniel have been working hard to prove to the world that stupid questions are very real. The idea that adoption and foster care is an alternative to abortion isn't new. And neither is the fact that our foster care system, like the movie Cats, is really bad. Judges kept asking me why the speech is important today, so let's just get that out of the way. Just because our foster care system has been broken since Annie first sang on the streets of Manhattan doesn't mean you can condemn children to a life of despair with Count Olaf. But if that's not good enough for you, Al Jazeera of June 12, 2019 explains, last year alone, 12 states passed laws limiting or banning abortions. The Salt Lake Tribune of June 18, 2019 explains Utah County commissioners banned abortions in Utah County, claiming that abortions were making it harder to adopt. Yet, they ignore the fact that Utah families have 18 kids each. And that's not a joke. It's a statistic. An Ohio bill passed April 11th, 2019, names adoption as a reason to ban abortions after the heartbeat is detected. Finally, right now, implore, maybe we should just care about kids that no one else does. Our foster care system is broken and forgotten, and orphans should only be forgotten by their parents. A program. The sun'll come out tomorrow. But today, I'll deliver the problems facing the foster care system, leave a carriage of causes on the doorstep of a fire station before finally forgetting all the mistakes I made and adopting new solutions to the crisis of the foster care system. First, I want you all to understand this speech isn't about abortion. Abortion doesn't need a solution. It is the solution. There are two problems. They are overcrowding and poor health. First, our foster care system, like a clown car, is overcrowded, and like the female orgasm, is confusing. For me. According to Adopt US Kids Access January 20th, 2020, there are over 400,000 children in foster care in the US, and that number is continuing to grow. According to JAMA Pediatrics, which is easy to remember because it's like PA-JAMA, and like most of the kids they report on has no PA, published July 15th, 2019, nationwide, there's been an increase of children staying in foster care by 12%. Now there's all these kids and no homes to put them in. Fox 10 Phoenix of June 18th, 2019 explains there are over 14,000 children in the Arizona system with only 9,000 available spots. And I'm no mathematician, but that don't add up. The CDC of November 2018 explains there were 650,000 abortions, not including California, New Hampshire, or Maryland. What does a system that can't handle 400,000 children do with an additional 650,000 plus per year? The Hunger Games? Sure, that sounds funny until your whole team takes a vote and unanimously decides that you'd be the first person to die. Look, I get that I'm not a fighter, but I will run and hide. Second, children in foster care are just sad. The American Academy of Pediatrics of November 2016 explains children in foster care are in poor physical and mental health. That sentence took 4 years of research. They further explain that children in foster care are twice as likely to have learning disabilities, developmental delays, asthma, obesity, and speech problems, 3 times as likely to have ADD, ADHD, vision or hearing problems, 5 times as likely to have anxiety, 6 times as likely to have behavioral problems, and 7 times as likely to have depression. That's a whole paragraph without a joke, because nothing about any of that is funny. You know what is funny? Me, in my apartment giving my speech to my cats. The root cause of the foster care crisis is unprotected sex. Really, that's the root cause of a lot of things, like STDs and catching feelings. Remember, condoms go on penises, but they protect your heart. There are 2 causes. They are lack of institutional support and lack of child support. First, our government stopped caring about foster parents the minute Annie stopped singing. Carolyn Hemphill, a former Oregon DHS caseworker, explained to me in a personal interview on December 20th, 2019, an ongoing problem was how to recruit foster parents. Foster Focus magazine of February 15th, 2017 explains, foster parents have a turnover rate of nearly 50%, and most believe they did not receive the proper training or support to care for their children. In addition to the children being abandoned by 2 sets of parents, foster care agencies are understaffed. Hemphill further explains, the state child welfare system is not funded to meet the amount of cases they are attempting to work and can't hire more workers to work the way they should be able to. It's like if everyone on your team quit, and then your coach made you do 30 events, a debate, and win all of them. And you ask your coach, but how am I supposed to give 30 events the love and attention they need to be successful? And your coach brings you in closely and whispers, figure it out, and then pushes you down. Second, our government isn't just behind on child support. They went out to get cigarettes, never came back, and then ignore us when we see them in the grocery store. KinshipHouse.org Access January 20th, 2020 explains, children spend an average of 2 to 3 years in the foster care system. This forces caseworkers to place the children into any homes available. They further explain that children move an average of 4 to 6 times during their time in foster care. The previously cited American Academy of Pediatrics explains, constant moving affects everything you can imagine for children. Paramount in the lives of these children is their need for continuity with a primary attachment figure and a sense of permanence that comes when placement is stable. So, if abortion is the solution and unprotected sex is the cause, what's the real problem? It's us. Each and every single one of us is the problem. But really, it's people. People are the problem. There are far too many of us. But there are many solutions. And they're personal, because only you can prevent systematic child neglect. But really, if you're motivated to help children, you can become a court-appointed special advocate. This will allow you to work with a child through their case, gathering information and helping the court, child, and system decide what is best for them. If you can barely make decisions for yourself, you're probably qualified to make choices for a child. Next, you can mentor a foster child who needs a one-on-one connection. If you're lucky, it'll be like a movie, where you start out thinking you're there to teach them a lesson, then after approximately 90 minutes, you discover they were really teaching you a lesson the whole time. About love. Next, you can whip out your bottom dollar and donate money or supplies to local foster care agencies. It's literally as simple as going on Google and searching foster care donations. But even if you can't do that, you can donate to my Venmo called Donations that will definitely go to foster care agencies. And I promise I'll give the money to the people who need it most. You can trust me. I'm a Boy Scout. So please, send me your email in the chat and I will send you one of my handouts. It has all the information you could possibly need to help you help children. Also, there's a picture of me and my mom. Our foster care system is in shambles, and helping is like doing the dishes or your laundry. The more we ignore the problem, the bigger it gets. And the worse it smells. After learning the problems, causes, and solutions, I hope you not only want one of my handouts, but will seriously consider its content. Make Annie proud. Make tomorrow today.
Nicely done, good sir. Nicely done.
Thank you, everyone. And can I go to my next one?
Absolutely. Best wishes and stay healthy, stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Good luck, everyone. Have fun.
Bye-bye. All right. So just doing a check-in here. Teresa, are you double entered? Oh.
I'm not double entered. I had technical difficulties. I didn't get the link in time, so we had to figure it out. So
No worries at all. Let me just do a check-in. Casey, are you still double entered?
No, I'm done.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. If that is the case, give me 1 second to organize a few things. Okay, so we will be moving down. Teresa, you will be up first, and then Casey will be moving on to you, and then Zach, you'll be after that. And just checking in with my judges. Judges, are you at a point where we can start to move forward?
Good to go.
Ready.
Perfect. All right, Teresa, then it is your turn. Please take away the screen.
awesome. Thank you. A few months ago, when we were still allowed to do things, I was in my local CVS doing some light shopping. Greeting cards, fiddle faddle, giant box of tampons. When all of a sudden, I was doubled over in pain right in the middle of the feminine hygiene aisle. Great. Now bear with me. While I was down there, I noticed an issue of the New York Times Magazine from 2016 tucked right between the pads and the really big pads titled, "When Doctors Downplay Women's Health Concerns." Being dramatically underwhelmed by this title, I was shocked when it detailed that this was actually a really big thing. So I whimpered my way out of the store and I went to see my doctor. As I explained how my pain had progressed, he nodded, looked down at his prescription pad, and before I could even finish, handed me the diagnosis. Lady issues. Now, the symptoms I had listed were longer than my CVS receipt, so I knew that I wasn't going to take this lack of diagnosis lying down. So I gathered my things and set out to explore the field of women's healthcare and treatment. And reports like the New York Times article have been available since Spanx were even invented. And we thought that was going to solve everything. So today, let's unwrap some of the existing problems, soak up some of the causes before finally pulling the strings on some solutions. First, women are lacking quality medical care. And second, this impacts their already slim insurance options. Women are suffering, and not like an ouchy kind of pain, but a full-on Ross and Rachel breakup pain. They were on a break. Especially women who suffer from lady issues like endometriosis, adenomyosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, abbreviated PCOS, pretendinitis, or PMS. But the real issue isn't the conditions. It's that women express their pain and often aren't believed. According to The Atlantic in August of 2018, doctors can often gaslight patient expressions of pain, waving it off as not that bad or just in your head, leaving many women untreated and still in pain. This hurts, literally. And it can affect a person's mental health too. Gaslighting women in healthcare makes them feel invalidated, causing anxiety, especially around attending the doctor, which I know we're all nervous about attending the doctor right now, but imagine if that was your life. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America in 2015, said that women are twice as likely to suffer from anxiety and depression than men, leaving us easier to ignore or write off when physical pain hits. That's what happened to Serena Williams. After she had a baby, they ended up taking her off her pain meds prematurely. Really? You're going to do the alpha woman like that? Taking a person, not believing their pain, and then shaming them for being one of the few that actually tries to get help, because apparently the only thing that doctors do believe about women is that we get sad. And that makes me really, really hungry. And of course, race is a factor too, because the only thing that American doctors like to mistreat more than women are women of color. Turns out the only thing that some doctors' coats are missing is a matching white hood. Aside from the blatant ethical issues, this impacts insurance options. According to the ACLU in 2017, the White House passed a bill that would alter insurance rules for women with pre-existing conditions like being pregnant, irregular periods, previous C-sections, and basically just having a vagina, leaving insurance companies the right to declare these women uninsurable, which by these standards, almost no woman is insurable. Kind of like how almost no man is marriage material. A study done by the Vitals Healthcare in 2018 said that women pay on average 69% more for insurance costs. Talk about a punch in the pocket and a punch in the, ooh, ouchie. Now, we're uncomfortably inserted into the problem. Let's soak up some causes. There are two. First, women outright aren't being listened to, and second, they aren't being researched. In 2012, Dr. Kathy Migliotto, a cardiothoracic surgeon, said that women's symptoms are often attributed to emotional imbalance, being hysterical, or crying wolf about their pain, and that's absolutely wrong. Hysterical? Isn't that exactly what they said about Serena Williams when she lost the 2018 finals match? But damn, what's next? Are they going to diagnose Beyonce as too bootylicious? Mariah Carey with too much pitch? Taylor Swift with inserting herself into every community, including this speech? But for real, Taylor, there's a difference between allyship and ownership. But this cause is not a one-time thing. It's like herpes. It just keeps coming back. One woman on the podcast Bodies from last year went to 20 different doctors over 7 years for the pain she experienced during sex. When she was finally listened to by a doctor, the diagnosis was a common issue, but one that's rarely diagnosed. And that gap of women in pain and women being properly diagnosed is bigger than any thigh gap you could ever imagine. Secondly, women are not included enough in medical research or even in medical studies. In the words of John Oliver, there have been women-shaped blind spots for decades. Get it? It's a teacup because he's British. Women were excluded from medical trials because it was believed that their menstrual cycles would mess up the results. Shouldn't those messed up results be the answers we're looking for? I mean, even as recent as 2014, a neurobiologist from UC Irvine, Larry Cahill, claimed during an interview that women are just men, but with pesky hormones. So to control the data, the best way to study women is to study men. In short, what the fuck? Maybe it's my pesky hormones getting in the way now, and I am just a woman, but I don't think that math adds up. And clearly as shown in the New York. Actually, I'm not even going to cite this. Men and women's bodies are different. Sex and gender are rarely considered during medical research, and this hampers our ability to identify important differences that could benefit the health of us all. Feeling full yet? Well, good, because we're about to yank out some solutions. Much like the number of holes a woman has below the belt, I have 3 solutions. I can see some of you maybe questioning your anatomy class, or maybe it's because you don't own a mirror, but that's on you. There's a clear issue of bias in medical diagnosis and treatment for women versus their male counterparts. The Association of American Medical Colleges in 2019 created an unconscious bias training just for medical environments. Now, we all know you wanted just one more thing that you can do on Zoom. Are your classes going okay? Mine are going just fine. Just fine. Just fine. Just fine. Sorry, I need to get my shit together. The Liaison Committee on Medical Education is the accrediting body for medical schools in the US and Canada. You can contact them directly at lcme@aamc.org to join me in this call. While you're there, you can also ask them to include women in medical research and studies. By ask, I mean demand. And by demand, I mean threaten to burn that bitch down if they don't. And unlike your craggly old teachers, textbooks filled with bad research and crazy sexist notions aren't tenured. So get them out of here. Lastly, on an individual level, if you're a woman, advocate for yourself. If you feel that your position doesn't allow for advocacy, you can just bring a white man with you. If you're having trouble finding one, you can just look through Taylor Swift's breakup list. There she is again. If you feel that your doctor isn't listening, get a new doctor. Rate the old one. Most insurance providers track reviews of the doctors that they partner with. So if you have time to give a 1-star Yelp review after brunch, you can at least do the equivalent for this. Clap back. With enough reviews, insurance companies will be motivated to drop coverage for a provider. You can even do it in a nice way, like the judges do at forensics tournaments. Great job, Fifth 18. So today, we've taken the messy way through the problems, causes, and some possible solutions to the issue of women suffering unnecessarily due to medical mistreatment of lady issues. While the problem isn't the newest, our understanding of why continues to evolve. I have endometriosis, and it took me 8 years to get scheduled for a surgery. But by recognizing that the medical field has been gaslighting women for decades, we are finally starting to see society push back. So the next time that you find yourself at the doctor's or the local CVS, I wish you luck and plenty of tampons.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Thank you very much.
I am going to adjust my camera so I can watch the rest sitting down.
Good. All right, Casey. So whenever you are ready, I believe we are ready. Let me just confirm that with the judges.
Okay.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, it sounds like everybody is set to go. So the screen is yours.
You know how I spend my Friday nights? With my grandma. She's awesome. And she's got Alzheimer's. Horrible disease, but I'm a glass half full kind of girl. So I look for the benefits. Oh, Grammy thinks she's 20. So I get to teach her how to adult. You know, keg stands, beer pong, and hell, we went TPing last Friday night at our local grocery store. What's great about it is that every time we do it, it's like she's experienced it for the first time. Hey, we got a couple coaches out here. You know that look students get in their eye when they get that aha moment? Those are my Friday nights. Pretty awesome. But Alzheimer's isn't funny. This isn't what the speech is about. But adulting is. What Time Magazine did was turn adult into a verb in order for millennials to actually engage in adult activities, such as a 9-to-5 job, mortgage, rent, and a car payment. The only good news is that we're going to get through it together through Google and 5-hour energy. I haven't slept in days. Many of us have been fully shielded from full responsibilities of adulthood. Unlike our parents' generation, which according to them, they were thrust into adulthood. Out of the womb, through the cell, uphill, both ways. Not so this. A May 24, 2016 survey conducted by the Pew Research Center stated that 32% of adults aged 18 to 34 still live with their parents, while the other 68% are hiding their parents' basement, pretending they're on their own. Today, we'll talk about the problems, causes, and solutions of adulting because, according to my coach on November 22nd, 2019, adulting is a STE topic. And vote against this, vote against STE. Now, I've got some good news and some bad news, but because I know you have anxiety, we're going to go over the bad news first. There are many problems with the term adulting, mainly two. First of all, the fact that we can't do simple tasks. Millennials these days are skipping the massive traumas of learning to be an adult, whether you're doing your own taxes, staying in on a Friday night, or being super pumped about home appliances. To ease the transition a little for me, I even glued Google Eyes to my Keurig so I wouldn't be so lonely. His name's Jimmy. He keeps me company during my mental breakdowns about school, work, forensics, and maintaining a social life. He's a great listener. We like to go to the grocery store mainly until one day I popped my tires on the way there, and I thought, it's all good. I have AAA to do all the heavy lifting for me. A NBC News article on September 27, 2016 stated that 75% of millennials can't properly change a tire. I've only got 2 left. I'm running on my rims. But it's pretty though, the sparks. Not only that we can't do these simple tasks, this proves that we are a bunch of spoiled and lazy failures. I don't know about you, but I was so excited when I got my driver's license. It was that defining moment like, wow, I'm actually in charge of this 2,871 pound killing machine. It only taught me 2 things. Don't let anyone merge into your lane, and a real driver never uses turn signals. Forbes on August 4, 2019 discusses that millennials are trying to get away without driving, and they will happily find alternatives, such as carpooling, hitchhiking, selling themselves for a 3-mile ride down the road to the causes. You thought I was going to use a turn signal, didn't you? 2 causes. Like for everything in life, it's so easy to blame my parents for everything that's wrong with me. My mom asked me if I was going to be alone forever. I thought that was so rude because Jimmy was right over there. We live in a world where 30-year-olds are saying that they're adulting when all they're doing is balancing their Venmo account, deciding whether to fill their empty gas tank or to buy that $20 avocado toast. I mean, you can't go hungry. Our parents will eventually understand our fine dining cuisine. According to an August 8, 2017 survey conducted by Michigan State University, 1/3 of employers have received resumes from parents on their children's behalf. And some of these parents submitted these resumes without their children's knowledge. Side note, my mom decided to take this a step further. She wrote my resume, showed up for the interview, nailed it, nailed the manager. And I'm stuck working at Trader Joe's, where the guy I'm supposed to be calling Uncle Mike. You may be thinking, I mean, I'm not, but you may be thinking where this term adulting came from. But you know what I'm thinking? If two vegans get into a fight, is it called beef? It appeared on Twitter in 2008 and 2009, but surged popularity in 2016, where it started showing all over social media, like Proactive commercials. Yeah, I bought that crap. My skin isn't better. My boyfriend dumped me. And worst of all, no one's talked to me once at this sermon. You may be on mute, but I can read lips. Bad joke. There. Try again next year. Lastly, I haven't learned anything important from my high school classes other than math and letters, the periodic table, and that Mr. Mullen had dandruff. It was weird because he was actually bald. True story. Schools really need to take account the real social pressures of 2020, rolling the perfect pinner and mastering the art of the butt chug. It's a delicate balance. In all seriousness, high school is the perfect time to introduce basic life skills. According to the Takeout on June 15, 2018, there are only 3.5 million students enrolled in secondary programs, a decrease of 38% over a decade compared to the 1970s. By schools decreasing these kind of class opportunities, Americans are slowly becoming more aware of important skills. Giving them the excuse that's okay not to learn these things. I told my parents and schools to suck it. I have some solutions, so hear me out. The first one is so easy. Are you ready? Adulting is not a real thing. Adulthood is a social construct, so we are trying to reach something that isn't actually real. It's a lot like super CrossFitters. You're just working out, man. Life coach, therapist, and all-around good guy John Kim spoke to Psychology Today on February 13, 2017, and said some stuff. He talked about taking ownership and responsibility that your life sucks. Since many high schools have abandoned these useful classes, I seriously think the boomers have plotted against us to watch us suffer, leaving us to believe that we have the adulting thing down. Luckily, the road to adulthood can be paid for the adulting classes. There's this newspaper called the Law Times from December 11, 2019. There are many opportunities for postgrads and college students to take charge of their life again. For instance, the Adulting Collective made a big splash about 2 years ago that has offered classes, either guided or be online, to help us cope with life's challenges. Maybe I'll remember to wash the massive pile of clothes in my room. Still continuing to haunt me. Jimmy, I swear, if you don't do anything right now, you're going to be some hot water. You know what, y'all? I've been really inspired by the way I'm conquering the world right now. From doing adult things, to partying on Friday nights with grandma. I think I'm doing an okay job with this whole adulting thing. So I wrote this cool, sick rap that I wanted to share with you all on how I cope with adulting. Because I'm not throwing away my shot. Here we go. I'm a Gen Z in the rough, an ugly little troll trying to reach my goal, not eat my family's pizza rolls. Only 20, but my mind is slower. My bank account starts to lower. I told them so. Meanwhile, my mom mentions adult me endlessly. Essentially, it's being used relentlessly. All over Twitter, throughout the internet. However, she wasn't wrong about my bad mindset. I'll lay down my life. On the next breakthrough, it's do or die. Well, I need to give it a try. Yay, we learned great goals today. Yay! Well, some more than others. We learn about the problems, causes, and solutions of adulting in order to teach millennials to do what they're asked to do. This all goes back to Friday nights with my grandma, where we party like there's no tomorrow. And for her, there isn't. Even though she doesn't remember what she's doing half the time, and the fact that she's going to die eventually, I think providing the true millennial experience of a lifetime for her. Because tomorrow, we're going to spend her social security check on hookers and blow. Or avocado toast. We haven't decided yet.
Another wonderful speech. Thank you very much for keeping it rolling. All right, so we'll just have a brief moment to transition over. Zach, as we had mentioned before, or as I had mentioned before, you'll be the next speaker. Again, just give me a second to move my cat out of the way, and then also get my sheet set up here. Okay, and then just to check in with the judges, are you set to go as well?
All set.
Ready.
Perfect. All right, Zach, please go ahead and finish the rundown for us.
When asked the question, recent polls show that more than 1/5 of Americans cannot locate the United States on a map. Why do you think that is? Myself and 2007 Miss Teen South Carolina were left almost speechless, y'all. While her underwhelming response earned her infamy across the YouTubes, mine led me to Google, where I found a study by the Council on Foreign Relations and National Geographic Society in 2016 that revealed significant gaps between what young people know about the world and what we need to know in order to successfully navigate and compete in it. How is this revealed? The average score on a geography test given to 18 to 26-year-olds was effed up. It was an F. This lack of a basic knowledge of the Earth has led to research into what the National Geographic has called geoliteracy. Geoliteracy is the term used to describe our understanding of the world around us. So, if geoliteracy is good, then I guess the problem I'm describing is geo-ill-literacy. Today, we'll get lost in the causes, wander around aimlessly through some effects, before finally yelling to the upstairs neighbor some solutions to earth.com. And yes, she has her own website. On February 5th, 2019, calls a major threat to our national security. And because geology rocks. But geography is where it's at. Okay, but seriously, when I was in 4th grade, I starred in my school's production of Geology Rocks as Sherlock Holmes, and I learned that I'm a stellar interpreter, and 2 causes: a failing education system and political elites. First, the education system in the US sucks. Why else would Kansas and Arkansas be pronounced differently? But at least the subjects we know we're failing are required in school. Geography courses, on the other hand, are not. A study conducted by the National Geographic Society Education Foundation during the 2013-2014 school year found that only 10 states require geography courses in order to graduate high school. Utah, South Dakota, and Mississippi are the only states that mandate a standalone course. I'm from Utah, so I guess I'm one of the few who know that the Earth is flat. However, even in states that utilize a hybrid history geography course, NPR on April 29th, 2019, found that the average high schooler spends just 20 minutes each week learning geography. They spend more time searching for Pokemon or jewel pods. Next, the media and our political elites also suck at geography. In 2009, during a segment on Egypt, infected Syria's flag. Fox News once labeled Iraq as Egypt. John McCain discussed several issues facing the Iraq-Pakistan border. President Obama called several East Coast cities part of the Gulf Coast. Mitt Romney, my senator, and my bet is the Zodiac killer, think about it, once said that Syria was Iran's route to the ocean. And this brings us to our favorite A-list geographer, DJ Trump. The Telegraph on September 22nd, 2017 reports that he raved about the healthcare system of Nambia. Nambia doesn't exist! The Atlantic on January 13th, 2019 reflects on his question. Why are we letting all these people from shithole countries in here? He furthered that Nigerian immigrants would never go back to their huts, and Haitians all have AIDS, while welcoming useful immigrants from places like Norway and Sweden. Hashtag Make America White Again. Ugh, continental drift, continental drift, continental drift. There are 2 effects. We don't know shit about the Earth. And, you guessed it, racism. First, US Americans know very little about the Earth, and she's angry. The previously cited report from Earth.com on February 5th, 2019 reveals that 75% of Americans lack basic proficiency in geography. And while I can't expect anyone to be able to locate the island nation of Vanuatu, although I could show you after the pandemic, we should all be able to discuss with which countries the United States is allied or at conflict, which natural disasters could impact us wherever we are, or have a crippling anxiety over climate change is probably going to kill us before actual climate change. The Washington Post on April 15th, 2019 laments that many Americans are not able to adequately read maps shared by meteorologists. This becomes extremely dangerous during hurricanes and other types of disasters. Speaking of disasters, me. Next, Americans are super racist. Apparently it wasn't just a phase. Let's return to Trump's shithole comment. The American Association of Geographers on February 1st, 2018 found that in the wake of President Trump's racist rhetoric, graders from the AP Human Geography course noticed a spike in racist, sexist, and classist responses regarding Africa and the Global South. According to a public policy poll on December 18th, 2015, my 18th birthday, 30% of Republicans and 19% of Democrats support bombing Agrabah. Aladdin, no. The previously cited report from Earth.com, she's been around for a long time, she knows a lot, found that less than 25% of Americans have a positive view of Mexico, and most Americans consider immigration to be a major threat, despite the fact that the Pew Research Center on June 19th, 2019 found that since 2007, undocumented immigrants from Mexico have steadily declined, while undocumented immigrants from Europe have remained about the same. Okay, I guess I have a joke. Why did the map get in trouble with Christopher Columbus? And don't worry, we still hate him. Because it had a bad latitude. Nah. You know what I have a bad latitude about? People using location as a way to determine worth. So I really wanted to keep that whole pun thing going through my transition, but I ran out of ideas. I racked my brain, so now I'm just really trying to get to the end of my speech without rushing too much. I hate me too. Solutions on a personal level. There are several steps we can take to better understand the world, and none of them will risk us falling off the edge of it. On my handout, this link will take you to my favorite world map quiz. Learning where all the countries are is a great place to start. You might be surprised to find that shithole isn't one of them. However, geoliteracy is about more than just knowing where things are. Learn about other cultures and actively combat ignorance toward developing countries. For example, when Notre Dame burned down, it not only became the hottest tourist attraction in the world, but Western billionaires donated enough funds to rebuild the cathedral faster than the French surrendered to the Nazis. However, in 2016, when ISIS destroyed over 700 monuments spanning 22 countries in North Africa and the Middle East, we didn't even hear about it. So we couldn't send thoughts or prayers. Next, on an institutional level, in 2009, the National Geographic and History teamed up to achieve 80% geoliteracy and 50% geofluency in all 50 states by 2025. They argued that geoeducation should prioritize geo-doing over geo-learning. And as much as I love to name all 197 countries in less than 15 minutes, that knowledge should be a starting point, not an ending point. Their mission, like my life, isn't going very well. They, like me, lack money and support from the federal government. Also on my handout, this QR code will take you to the National Geographic so you can donate and support geoliteracy programs across the US. You can also read the full script of Geology Rocks. I'll leave my email in the chat. Please reach out if you'd like a digital copy. So today, we have discussed the causes, effects, and solutions for one of the reasons Mother Earth hates us. Just like anyone, she wants to be understood. And 2007 Miss Teen South Carolina agrees, later clarifying that America needs better geography education. Y'all.
All right. Once again, congratulations to all of our finalists here in After Dinner Speaking. Again, very pleasurable round. Again, thank you very much. And for all of you out there watching, thanks for tuning in. Best wishes to y'all for the rest of the day. And yeah, everybody stay healthy, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
My pleasure.